Shalom everyone. Today we're going to be discussing, very briefly, the topic of Satan, or Satan. This is just an introduction to the topic that I will be preparing in great length. But just as an introduction, I'm going to make this video, this briefing on Satan and how the Jewish people understand Satan based on Tanakh, on the Hebrew Scriptures. Now, in Tanakh, in the Hebrew Scriptures, Satan is very, very, very different than the Satan depicted in the Greek Scriptures called the New Testament. In the New Testament, Satan, or Satan, is considered the ruler of this earth, a counter to the force, our God, known as Yehovah, which is the Almighty, Elohim. Now, according to Christianity, according to the Christian understanding of Satan or Satan, Satan took angels from heaven to join him in a counter effort where it's good against evil. The good guys versus the bad guys. The good God, Elohim, versus the bad Elohim. And he's literally called the God in the New Testament, the God of this system of things. Now, what is Judaism's answer to all this? Israel's answer. In Tanakh, what does it say? Well, the word Satan in Hebrew means something like adversary or roadblock, something that gets in the way. The first time the word occurs is in the book of Numbers, chapter 22, verse 22. And in that verse, it says that Elohim sent an angel or a messenger. This is for Balaam, who was on his way to curse the Jewish people, or Israel. He sent a messenger to block his way, to stop him. And the words there, it says to be an adversary in English. But in Hebrew it says, this is the first time the word Satan is used. And what does it say? It says, le Satan, as a Satan against him. So what it literally means is something that gets in the way, an adversary. Now this is the first time that the word is used in the Hebrew Scriptures. Satan in the Hebrew Scriptures, a brief summary here. For example, in the book of Job, Satan appears with the angels, and he has a conversation with Elohim. Now, Christianity says that Satan is a bad angel, a super angel, who took demons with him as a counter against Elohim. But in the Hebrew Scriptures, what does it say in Job? That he came in amongst the angels, the sons of God. Coincidentally, sons of God. Yes, there are other beings called sons of God, the angels, and Israel, but that's a whole other subject. He comes in, and God basically is bragging about Job and saying, have you noticed Job, how faithful he is, how much of a servant he is to me? He is righteous in all that he does. And what does Satan do? He's conversating with Elohim. He's saying, well, he's only good to you and good in your eyes because you bless everything he has. But only touch his property and the things he has, and he'll curse you to your face. So saying, it's only because he has a very cushy life that he's so spiritual, so on your side, God. But just for one instance, just attack the spoils that he has, the riches that he has. And I promise you, all that praise and that notoriety will go out the window. So Elohim gives Satan orders. He says, okay, you will do this one thing and nothing more. If you go through the whole book of Job, and we'll get into this in great detail in my next video, which will be in a few days, in great detail. But every time Elohim is giving Satan orders, and he does not disobey. He's not allowed to do whatever he wants to do. Elohim, Yehovah, is the one who's in control of all things. For example, in the book of Isaiah, chapter 45, verses 7, verse 7. It says very clearly, I make the light and create darkness. I make good and create evil. I, Yehovah, do all these things. Now, in all Christian Bibles, most Christian Bibles, it is never ever translated as evil, as it says in the Hebrew. Instead, most Christian Bibles will translate the word evil for calamity or disaster. But that's not what it says. It says evil. This is not the only passage. There are many examples where the word evil is used when speaking about Elohim. For example, in the Torah, Elohim says, today I place before you life and death, good and evil. He speaks about evil curses. For example, there's many examples. We'll go in great detail. But the book of Jonah, chapter 3. Read it for yourself. In the book of Jonah, chapter 3, he says that he's going to bring upon the city of Nineveh evil for the things that they were doing, the abominations they were doing in the sight of Yehovah. And it says when they turned from their sins without sacrifices, it says that he changed his mind from the evil that he planned on doing to them. So in the Tanakh, in this simple explanation, in the Tanakh over and over, God makes it abundantly clear that he is in control of all forces, the good and evil. It is not saying that he is an evil God, but he is the ruler of all things, and we were made in his image. Therefore, as we get angry, because we're in the image of Elohim, we see in Tanakh, Elohim gets angry. He loses his cool. He plans on doing destructive things. He has good, evil. He gets frustrated. We have the qualities from Elohim himself. So it's very, very clear that Elohim is not all good, as we always say all the time, or Christians make it seem like it could only be good and there's nothing else but good. That's not true. That is not the words of the Hebrew Scriptures. He is the controller, the eternal one of all emotions and all force is all within him. He is the one who is in charge of all forces. There is no free will among the angels. We have free will, the choice to do right and wrong, to rebel, to do whatever we want. The angels do not have free will to go run around and create a counter team. I don't know if you know the Jewish scriptures as much as we do, but in the Jewish scriptures, Yehovah does not play around like that. He does not allow this at all. There is no other force that can do that, nor would he allow such a thing. For example, the Christian Bible says over and over, Satan rules this world. Well, what does Tanakh say? 1 Kings chapter 8, verse 60. So that all the peoples of the earth may know that Yehovah is God, there is none besides him. Psalms 83, verse 18. That men may know that you, whose name is Yehovah, you alone are ruler over all the earth. Him alone over all the earth. No one else